The second sikha on Shmos, just like the first one, is just a mind-blowing sikha on a fundamental nekuda. Interesting, it was said on the Achron Shal Pesach, and the previous sikha, at least half of it, was also said on the Achron Shal Pesach. So it's very much a Mashiach-tika sikha, as we know that the sikhas of Achron Shal Pesach are very connected to Mashiach. And it goes on the words in the parsha of Shlachno b'yad tishlach, and again, just like the Shmos Aleph, it's based on the Medrash. The Medrash says, Amar Moshe lefanav, when Moshe Rabbeinu told Hashem, Shlachno b'yad tishlach, when he was standing at the snare, what he was trying to say is, Ribono Shel Olam, send b'yad Mashiach shu asid legale, send the Mashiach who's anyways going to be in the future, send him now. But this wasn't accepted, because Hashem wanted Moshe to be the shliach to take the Yidden Mitzrayim. Now, from the Medrash is understood that there's a connection between Moshe and Moshiach, and therefore he felt that his shlichus could be done by Moshiach, but nevertheless, it couldn't happen in reality. In other words, it's a relationship, but it didn't play out that Moshiach did it. What's the connection between Moshe and Moshiach? And you see how they're both similar in the fact that they both take Yidden Mitzrayim. What's the essential similarity? So we can understand what, based on what the Chazal say, Moshe, Goyal Rishon, and Goyal Achron. Moshe is the first redeemer and the last redeemer. Obviously, it doesn't mean that Moshe himself will be the Goyal Achron, and the Rebbe brings interesting proof, because Moshe is from Shevet Levi and Mashiach has to come from Shevet Yehuda. So rather means that Moshe, who's the Goyal Rishon, gives the koyach, and it's through him that Goyal Achron comes, Mashiach. What does it mean? Why? What's Moshe Rabbeinu known about? It's Torah's Moshe. And what's the mile of Mashiach? He's a Hoige b'Torah. So only through Torah's Moshe does he have the ability and the koyach to be able to bring the Gula Asida, as we're going to explain throughout the Sikh. Now, this connection between Mashiach and Moshe is also found in the fact that the words Yavai Shiloi, Shiloi is coming, referred to coming of Mashiach, and the words Yavai Shiloi are the gematria of Mashiach, and Shiloi is the gematria of Moshe. So Yavai Shiloi is that Moshe, the revelation of Moshe and Yahweh, will come out into the revealed way, and that is Mashiach. Now we know what the Frierdiker Rebbe says. Rebbe says that he said, the Frierdiker Rebbe said his Achron Shal Pesach, Tafresh Tzadik test, is literally a few months before World War II begins, that Yahweh Shiloi is Begematria, that the word Yahweh is Echon, and Shiloi is Moshe. So Moshe together with Yahweh, with Echad, is Mashiach. In other words, that how do you bring Mashiach? You bring it by revealing the Echad. You serve Hashem in the way of Echad. And how do you do that? Through the Avodah of Moshe, Torah, that connects the whole thing to Mashiach, as we'll explain. And here the Rebbe goes into fundamental Nekudas in the Chassidus worldview, how Chassidus sees reality. Chazal tell us that the world was created al miloyoi, perfect. In other words, everything was the way it was. Then what happened? Chet Tzadas came, and the Nachash brought into Chava Zuhama Tumah, brought into her impurity. And the entire world, not only the human being, the entire world went down from its shleimus until Matan Torah. Matan Torah, we got re-elevated. Paska Zu Amasan, that dirt, that injection of impurity that was given from the Nachash is stopped. Then came another Yerida, by Chet HaEgel, and then the Zuama came back. The Rebbe brings from the Zohar. And it's still in this world. Until Mashiach comes, Hashem's going to remove all the Tumah, the Zuama is going to be gone, the world's going to be elevated, everything's going to be beautiful. Now we know the principle, Yerida Tzarech Aliyah, that the only reason you go down is to go up. In other words, the whole point of going down is for going up. Meaning that if you need to go down to go up, it has to be that the up that's going to be after the down is greater than the up that was before. Otherwise, why do you have to go down? You're already there. So the aliyah shel achar yerida is greater than the aliyah shel ifnei yerida. So we must say there's something incredible that's going to happen after the yerida of Chet HaEgel that's going to be greater than what happened in Matan Torah. Says the Rebbe, this aliyah, this incredible aliyah that's going to be greater than Matan Torah is in two ways. Both Milmaila Lamata, the way Hashem brings down into this world the flow, and elevation, how we bring Milmata Lamaila. And the Rebbe says we see this by Matan Torah. That even though before Matan Torah, obviously Kimu Kol HaTorah Shlei Nitna, and we know that they kept the whole Torah, and there was the Sheva mitzvahs Meinach, and the 6 mitzvahs, and then the 7th mitzvah that was given to Noach, not only Adam Arishan, etc. But what happened? Matan Torah banu b'charta, as we spoke in last in Shmos Aleph. HaKadosh Baruch Hu chose us from the level of Atzmos. So that was an incredible difference that happened in Matan Torah. And what happened in Matan Torah, in the Milmata Lamaila, that even though the Zuama came back by Chet Egel, it wasn't the same level of Zuama the way it was previous, because ultimately we were on a different level, so it was never able to affect us, the Zuama, the way it affected us by Adam Arishan. So you see that by Matan Torah, there was an upgrade both in Momayla Mata and Momata Lamayla. So too, Yemaisa Mashiach, there's an upgrade above that. What's the upgrade of Yemaisa Mashiach over the upgrade of Matan Torah? Says the Rabbi like this, that Tanya explains that even though by Matan Torah we saw there was Re'iyah Mukhshis, there was a clear sight, nevertheless, it was only a me'in, it was only a taste, it was only a similarity to what's going to be La'asid Lavai. Because the Gilui of Hashem that's going to be La'asid Lavai is greater than Matan Torah. In other words, we're literally going to have an incredible revelation, even greater than Matan Torah. And so too, the world, it's never going to be able to have Zu'amah again, because the world is going to be different. Unlike Matan Torah, Pascha Zu'amah, and it stopped, but it was able to come back by Chet Egel. This time, it's never coming back. Literally, the Zu'amah is going to be removed from the world. The world is going to be so refined that it will be able, that Ruchnius will be able to penetrate this world and Netzach forever. And the fact that we'll only achieve this level of Yemaisa Mashiach, the ultimate level of revelation, which is higher than Matan Torah, and the ultimate level of refinement, which is also higher than Matan Torah, and the only way to do it is after the Yerida, shows that something had to happen in the Yerida to make it happen. So the Yerida brings the Aliyah. Now, just like the Aliyah of Matan Torah came through the Achana, through the preparation of Maaseh Avos, and then Mitzrayim, the Yerida that we had in Mitzrayim, that they received the Matan Torah. So too, Maaseh Avos, he calls Mamesh Chagolus, brings that we can get to the Gol Hasid, as it says in Tanya, the beginning of Perek Lamed Zayin. How does this happen? And here the Rebbe goes into another fundamental idea of Chassidus, the famous question. It says Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad. It should have said Yachid, which negates the fact singular rather than one, because one implies that there might be a two. So why would you use the word Echad, not Yachid? The famous question of Chassidus. And the explanation is because Dafka, we're trying to imply that there is, in theory, a place to say that there's two. And nevertheless, Hashem Echad, in this world of 7 heavens and Eretz and 4 different directions, Aleph, Alufi Shalaylam. In other words, we're not negating the world. We're saying there is a world, and within this world, it's Elikus. Now, how could this world be a keli to accept Elikus, that Hashem's revelation should happen? Torah mitzvahs do that. We make a zero layers back with Torah. Matan Torah gave us the ability of Torah mitzvahs that through that we could refine the world. Because when the Torah was given, the world was totally removed from its essence. That's why none of the animals made any sounds. Now, even though the world wasn't ready to receive the level of Matan Torah, and that's why the world had to be misbatel, it couldn't stand, it couldn't be within its regular, the world wasn't running the way it was supposed to run. Everything froze, but nevertheless it penetrated, and that allowed us to then do the job for the rest of history to bring the Gula down. So that koyach of Matan Torah gave us the koyach to bring Mashiach. So it's Moshe Rabbeinu that gave us Matan Torah, that now gave us the ability to bring Mashiach. Now this we can understand why Moshe plus Echad is Gematria Mashiach, because Moshe Rabbeinu, who is Matan Torah, he gave us the power to bring Echad. Through the revelation that was Matan Torah, we had the ability to bring Echad into this world, and Echad is going to bring Mashiach. And that explains the connection between Moshe and Mashiach, because even though the Mashiach is going to bring the Gula, nevertheless it's the Koyach of Moshe. At the same time, says the Rebbe, we can understand the difference between the two. That even though Moshe is Goyal Shel Yisrael, and Matan Torah was the beginning of the process, nevertheless, the difference is that Mashiach is what wraps it up. Moshe is the beginning of the journey, and Mashiach is the end of the journey. So Moshe begins the process in which we're able to remove Tumah, and Mashiach will be the one that actually removes the Tumah out. So basically, what has the Sikha told us? The Sikha has told us it focused on the idea of what was Matan Torah. Matan Torah was the ability, was the koyach of what? Of Torah. What did Torah give us? Torah mitzvahs gave us the ability of bringing Hashem dear leis b'avtavtin. And Mashiach is what wraps it. Says the Rabbi, Adam u'elam katan, the person's a small universe. So that what we spoke about plays out in our day to day. We start by davening, then we go to our workplace, and the beginning of the day gives but the fact that we daven, it gives the nefesh elikis the ability to spread throughout our guf and to be able to control our Yetzer Hara. And then when we go into the world, you're able to still see that I'm somebody that's in control of myself. I'm not giving into the temptations of the world. And at the end of the day, that I wrap it up with the idea of emes. What's the idea of emes? The Rebbe says the famous point. Aleph is the first letter of emes. The middle letter toughs. The last letter penetrates. It goes all the way. Emes havaya la'olam. Finishes the Rebbe like this. Just like Matan Torah gave us the ability to refine the world, so too the Avodah Pratis, that how do we have the strength to get through our day through the Torah of Moshe? In other words, what did the Rebbe just do? The Rebbe said that Matan Torah, then the downgrade, then Mashiach is similar to what we have in our world. Matan Torah is the beginning of our day. The end, then we go into the work, we get the koyach of Moshe, the koyach of Torah, and then we wrap up the day. After we bring the emes into the world, the ultimate revelation, the Gula.